Good afternoon, Anne Arundel County. Good afternoon, America. Welcome to Promoting Don't Get Fooled Again with Class. I'm your host, Anthony Bynum. The name of our production company is the Glen Burnie Players. I believe this is number 48 for us. So we're happy about that. Now, these are exciting times here in Anne Arundel County. We're going to talk about that. Now, we have had some rain recently, but that seemed to have burned off, or rather, should I say, froze up because it's been awfully cold. In either case, it's still very exciting to be here in Anne Arundel County. So before we get today's show started off, we want to have some shout outs to our affiliates, Anne Arundel Community Cable Access. Thank you for running our show. Our friends in PG County, that's Greenbelt Cable Access. Thank you for running our show. Our friends in Massachusetts, Amherst Media. Thank you for running our show. And we're waiting to hear back from the Manhattan Neighborhood Network. We submitted the show to them a little over a week ago, and we are just waiting for the opportunity to share with the 5 great boroughs of New York. Largest cable access network in the country, by the way. Now, as far as upcoming events, we have a couple big ones. On 5/18, Ferndale Day. Starts in the morning with a parade and goes into the afternoon over there at Senator Wagner Field. That's 5/18. Also, on Ferndale Day, I'm going to start promoting our promo, which we have completed recently, just to give you a taste of what's coming. So that's pretty exciting information. That's going to be available on our media here. That's either at Anthony Bynum 1948 or our Glen Burnie Players 8542. Also on 5/18, Jazzing with the Ushers. That's an event being sponsored by the John Wesley United Methodist Church, and that's featuring the ushers who are devoted to doing the job properly on Sundays over there at John Wesley, but also the band Count the Cost. That's Wes Watkins band. And so if you get the opportunity for that one, that's going to be in the evening. You can do both. I plan on it. We want to give credit where credit's due. We have much of our research comes from Wikipedia, but also this week we have something from the Poem Hunter. So we're going to start off with our screen share. So growing up, everyone was Mr., right? And this gentleman that we're going to talk about passed recently. His name is Mr. Don Welch. The Welch family, they were essentially neighbors. They lived across the street, but their kids and our kids, some of the ages were similar, so we knew each other pretty well. We knew each other pretty well growing up there on Pine Ridge Street in Goffstown. So Mr. Welch, or Donald F. Welch, as I knew him, was born 8/25/1939. He passed away recently. This is 1/9/2024 in St. Augustine, Florida. As a child of the 70s, again, the Welch family, Bynum family, we were essentially neighbors on Pine Ridge. It was Pine Ridge Road back in those days. The Welches had 4 kids, including my playmate when we were very, very young, Stephanie Welch. Stephanie was a few years younger than me. I always knew Mr. Welch was a plumber. I always knew that. What I didn't know, though, was that he was a union man. He belonged to the local 131st. I didn't know that he served 4 years in the Air Force. Now, Mr. Welch was always very kind to me. We had a neighborhood full of plenty of smart aleck kids, but I think Mr. Welch knew that I was not that kid. So he was always kind to me. But it was later on that he helped me out the most. So you see, one day I'm down there at Barnes Park. I probably might have been my freshman year of high school. And, I had no arc on my jumper at all. I didn't know until I read the obituary that Mr. Welch was a great basketball player as a young man. I didn't know that. But he helped me with that jumper because I had a broke jumper, boy. He taught me about arc. That was a good lesson. Thank you for that, sir. Thank you for that. Mr. Welch, a great American and just a great person. I want to thank the Welch family, especially my friend Stephanie, for letting me share. So, okay. We're going to move on to another part of the show, talking about something of consequence regarding Anne Arundel County. So we're going to do another screen share. I have to go here for that. Or do I go here? Where the heck is that? Oh, there it is. Use share and go to here. Okay. Pumphrey. So Pumphrey is an unincorporated community. The census of 2000 had the population at 5,317. It's located at the top of the county between Lithicum and Brooklyn Park. So you can see the picture of the map. You can see exactly where it is. Now, according to the 1878 survey of Anne Arundel County, the area is located on the west branch of the Patapsco River. At that time, largely owned by a Charles Pumphrey. Now, in those days, your areas were kind of named after people. That's why you have Lithicum or Lithicum Shipley. That's why you have Ferndale. And there's a lot of others like that. So Charles Pumphrey, the gentleman we just mentioned who owned this large chunk of land, was a direct descendant of Walter Pumphrey. Walter was a Quaker, and he immigrated from England and arrived in Burlington, New Jersey on a boatload of Quakers in 1678. Now, he moved to the Baltimore area in 1708 and provided carpentry services for many of the Quakers that lived in the city. In fact, the reason he owned so much property is that he needed the lumber in Arundel County. Nothing was going on back then in Arundel County in those days. So that's how he purchased so much of the land, and that's why the area is named after him. Now, Pumphrey is also the home of the Pumphrey Tax Improvement Association. I've been to a couple of their meetings, none this year, but they're trying to keep, it's a good, these community or associations are important because it allows you to know your neighbors, right? Other than just coming in and waving at somebody, you see them in action at night. You talk about important issues. Ever since starting the show, I've was going to about 4 of them fairly religiously. It's down to about 3. Like I said, I haven't been back to Pumphrey recently, but between the Glen Burnie Improvement Association and the Greater Ferndale Civic Community Association and the Lithicum Shipley Improvement Association, you get a chance to meet people who live nearby, and it helps you in your networking, and it just helps to give you a sense of what community is really about. Perhaps you'll see them in a grocery store one day. Who knows? But I have one other thing we want to do for this week's show, so we're going to stop the share. So I was thinking about our great tradesmen, the people who help to maintain the infrastructure of this country, the people who help to build the country, right? And so I was thinking, well, Mr. Welch was a plumber. Why don't we find something about plumbing? And I did. In fact, this poem was written by June Stepansky, and it was provided to us by way of the Poem Hunter. So I'm going to read it. It's called About Plumbing. I know more about plumbing than I ever wanted to now. I know the insidious sound of dripping faucets, gurgling drains, of toilets and sinks overflowing. My house is orderly, pleasant, although buried underground below the level of my consciousness are 30-year-old pipes. I know that when they break, it will always be on a weekend or when I'm having dinner guests. I really want to be mature about plumbing. I'm even determined to be gracious when the plumbers come tomorrow to dig up my front yard. Again, that was provided to us by June Stepansky through the Poem Hunter. So just to recap, exciting times here in Anne Arundel County, although you might want to bundle up a little bit, right? 5/18 is going to be an important day, a lot going on. So for everyone here with the Glen Burnie players, again, my name is Anthony Bynum. Until next time, bye-bye.